want to talk to you today about 12 things that can make or break your seedlings when you transplant them out into the garden. If you've been reading my blog for very long, you know that I like to plant a lot of things from seed. So I have a lot of things to transplant every spring. There are 12 things that can make or break your seedlings when you transplant them out into the garden. You want to determine if you have a healthy seedling. If you've grown your seedlings yourself, hopefully you've taken good care of them and you will want to use them as much as you possibly can. But if you've purchased them, or if you're purchasing them, looking at them in a nursery, you will want to look and see if they look robust. You want to make sure that none of the leaves, or not very many of the leaves, are looking yellow, and that they look full and not spindly. Make sure the seedling is hardened off. After the weather was warm enough, these plants spent a little bit more time outside each day. Stimulate the roots to grow outside of its original pot. You can see here how the roots have taken on the shape of the pot, and I'm going to rub them all over, and that's going to loosen them up so that they'll be more inclined to grow out into the soil. My bed of gazanias has all been planted, all the dirt tamped down around it, and now I just need to, should I pick that bloom off? I at least need to water them in. Avoid injuring any main stems. When you're taking the plant out of the pot, don't hold it by its main stem or the main point at which the plant is attached to the roots, because you don't want to have all the pressure there. Hold it with your fingers like that on the dirt, like that, and then you can hold it by the dirt. If you have to balance it, use the leaves a little bit. So you're never holding it by that main point. It's just too risky. Plant at the correct depth. These are some celery that I grew from seed, and you can, if you look there, you can see that I've planted them very carefully at the same level that they were at in the pot. Choose the correct growing environment. Part of choosing the correct environment is keeping in mind the seasonal temperatures. Now, these tomato plants did suffer a lot from the frost, but overall it's warm enough, so they are coming back vigorously. Give enough room for growth. Sacrifice a few blossoms. This is a habanero pepper plant, and they stay small for a long time until they really take off midsummer. These petunias did not have blooms on them when I planted them. I think it's funny, the blooms are as big as the plants already. Prune foliage to match the existing roots that you have left after the process of getting ready for transplanting. I don't usually have to do that, but if I did, this tomato would have been a candidate because this tomato plant got very big before I transplanted it. Water appropriately while they are getting used to being outside. These are some leeks I planted. These petunias were only transplanted just a few days ago. They still don't have great roots down in this pot. They need to be tended more often, especially since we're having a hot couple of days. I'm giving these gazanias and petunias a good soaking so that I can transplant them later this afternoon. Watch for pests. These are some broccoli that I actually direct seeded out here, but they need to be thinned, and I do need to watch for pests for them as well as things I've transplanted. And consider if it would just be best for the plant to be direct seeded instead of growing in a pot first. Some cute little lettuces.